Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night unable to move but fully awake, while something dark stands beside your bed breathing right into your ear? Before we begin, please tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? Because one day, I might tell a true horror story that happened right where you live. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like so you won't miss the next story. Make sure you stay until the very end, because the ending of this one will leave you speechless. I used to think sleep paralysis was just a weird trick of the mind, a glitch between dreaming and waking. But after what happened to me last winter, I'm not so sure anymore. It started on a Thursday night. I'd been working late shifts at a hotel, doing maintenance work in the empty hallways after guests were asleep. The hours were long, and I was constantly running on caffeine and barely 3 hours of rest. That night I came home around 2:30 a.m. The streets were dead quiet, coated with a thin layer of snow, the air biting cold. Inside my apartment, everything felt heavier than usual. The heat was barely working and I could see my own breath. I remember thinking, just a few hours of sleep before I have to go back. I fell into bed without even changing my clothes. The next thing I remember, it was opening my eyes and realizing I couldn't move. And at first I thought I was dreaming. My body felt pinned down like someone was pressing a slab of concrete over my chest. I tried to twitch my fingers, my legs. Nothing. My eyes darted around the dark room. The faint orange light from the street outside barely reached my ceiling. My phone lying beside me glowed faintly from a notification. And then I saw it. In the corner of my room next to the closet. There was something standing there. It wasn't moving, it wasn't breathing. But I felt it staring at me. The silhouette was tall, impossibly tall, its head brushing the ceiling. I blinked, thinking it was just my eyes adjusting. But when my vision cleared, it was still there. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I could hear it echo through the silence. I wanted to scream, but my jaw wouldn't move. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to look away, to shut my eyes. But I couldn't. The figure began to lean forward. Slowly, like it was bending down to see me better. Its shape was too thin, too angular to be human. I couldn't see a face, just a black outline darker than the shadows around it. The air grew colder. I could feel the temperature dropping with every second it moved closer. I tried to convince myself this wasn't real, that this was my brain misfiring between dream and wake. But then I heard it, a low, rattling sound, like someone inhaling through broken glass. The noise came from right next to my ear. I wanted to cry, to yell, to do something, but all I could do was stare at the ceiling while tears filled my eyes. The pressure on my chest increased, and for a moment I thought I might actually die there, paralyzed and silent. Then all at once I could move. I gasped, bolting upright, clutching my chest. The room was empty, no shadow, no sound. Only my own ragged breathing and the low hum of the refrigerator from the kitchen. I told myself it was just exhaustion, sleep paralysis, nothing more. But that explanation started falling apart when it happened again. The second time was worse. A few nights later, I'd taken the weekend off to rest. I went to bed earlier, around midnight, with my phone still playing a podcast. I remember drifting off to the sound of someone talking about urban legends, then waking up again, frozen. This time I was lying on my side, facing the wall. I could still hear the podcast faintly playing from my phone behind me. Only now, another sound had joined it, a slow, deliberate breathing. And it wasn't mine. The hairs on my neck stood on end. The breathing was deep, raspy, like whoever it was had been holding their breath for too long. It was right behind me. I could feel the air move against the back of my neck, warm and wet. Every muscle in my body screamed to turn around to see what was there, but I couldn't move. The breathing got closer, as if someone's mouth was now inches away from my ear. Then came the whisper. Not words I could understand, just a low, broken murmur. A voice like sandpaper dragged across metal. It went on for a few seconds, too quiet to make out, but I could feel the intent. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't curious. It was hungry. When the paralysis broke again, I spun around so fast I nearly fell off the bed. Nothing. Just my phone screen glowing faintly on the nightstand, the podcast still playing. I couldn't sleep for the rest of that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that tall shape in the corner, or imagined someone standing right behind me. By the third night, I was terrified to even go to bed. Too, I'd started keeping the lights on, forcing myself to stay awake until sunrise. But exhaustion always wins eventually. That night, I remember sitting up in bed with my laptop open, scrolling through a forum about sleep paralysis. People described seeing the same kind of figure, a tall shadow, sometimes with glowing eyes, sometimes without. One comment said something that made my stomach drop. If you see it more than once, it's not just sleep paralysis anymore. I laughed it off, but deep down, I knew. The thing I'd seen, it knew I had seen it, and it wasn't going to stop. After the third night, I started sleeping on the couch in the living room, thinking maybe it was something about my bedroom, the angle of the light, the old heater, whatever. I told myself it was just stress, that my mind was playing tricks. But deep down, I knew I was lying to myself. The first few nights on the couch were quiet. I'd leave the TV on, volume low, hoping the sound would keep me grounded in reality if I woke up. But on the fifth night, it happened again. I remember looking at the clock. 3:17 a.m. The TV had gone to static. For a few seconds, I just stared at it, confused. I could have sworn Netflix was still playing when I dozed off. Then I tried to reach for the remote and realized I couldn't move. That familiar, crushing weight pressed down on my chest again. Only this time, it wasn't just pressure. It was pain. Sharp, deliberate pain, like something was digging invisible claws into my ribs. I tried to scream, but could only produce a hoarse, strangled breath. The static on the TV grew louder. Through the flickering light, I could see my reflection in the dark window across the room. Only, it wasn't just me. There was something standing behind me. Its outline was clear, tall, thin, with long, unnaturally bent limbs. Its head tilted to one side the way a curious child might examine an insect. I could see my own terrified face in the reflection, frozen in place while the thing slowly leaned over me. Then the static cut out completely. The room plunged into absolute silence. I could hear my heartbeat, fast and panicked. Then, very faintly, I heard breathing again. But this time it wasn't just one sound. There were two. One right next to my ear, and another one right under the couch. The air turned cold, sharp, like every bit of warmth had been sucked out of the room. I felt the cushions dip slightly, as if something was crawling out from underneath. Every muscle in my body strained to move, to break free, but it was useless. Then, a whisper. Still awake? It wasn't in my head, it wasn't a dream. I heard it as clear as if someone had spoken it right beside me. The voice was hoarse, almost mocking, and filled with this awful, deliberate amusement. When the paralysis broke, I jumped off the couch, tripping over the coffee table. My phone fell to the floor and lit up. 3:29 a.m. The TV flickered back to life, showing the home screen. Everything was normal again, but I wasn't. That next morning, I called in sick. I didn't leave my apartment all day, didn't eat, didn't sleep. Every sound made me flinch. The wind outside, the pipes rattling, the floorboards settling, everything felt like it was alive, watching me. By nightfall, I was desperate. I looked up everything I could about sleep paralysis. Forums, YouTube videos, medical articles. Some said it was caused by stress, others mentioned the old hag, a folklore figure that supposedly sits on your chest and drains your energy. But one post caught my eye. It said that sleep paralysis could open a door. It described how, during that state between sleep and wakefulness, your consciousness was between worlds. If something was nearby, something not human, it could notice you. And once it does, it keeps coming back. I tried to shake it off. But when I finally fell asleep that night, I learned the post was right. The paralysis hit almost instantly. But this time, I wasn't in my apartment. I was in the same place, but darker, distorted, like a dream version of it. The furniture was there, but it looked wrong, melted, twisted. The walls were breathing, slowly expanding and contracting like lungs. And in the far corner, where the shadow always stood, it was waiting. I couldn't see its face. Just a shape. Tall, almost scraping the ceiling, its outline rippling like smoke. But I could feel it watching me. Then the whisper again. Closer this time. "You let me in." The voice came from everywhere, the walls, the floor, inside my own head. The sound made my stomach twist, like the air itself was vibrating with hatred. I wanted to wake up, to force myself out, but I couldn't. It started moving toward me, slow and deliberate. With each step, the room warped, bending toward it, like reality itself was collapsing around that thing. It stopped just inches from my bed. I could smell it, like damp soil and rot. Its hand, if you could call it that, reached toward my face. Long, thin fingers, black as ash. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even blink. Then, with a sudden jerk, I woke up, sitting upright, drenched in sweat, gasping. My sheets were tangled, my pillow soaked. The clock said 4:41 a.m. I turned on every light in the apartment and didn't sleep again until sunrise. By the next day, I was convinced I was losing my mind. I booked an appointment with a doctor who brushed it off as exhaustion and prescribed sleeping pills. But I couldn't take them. The thought of being paralyzed again, of being stuck with that thing, terrified me. That night, I sat awake, staring at the window. Outside, snow was falling again, and the world looked peaceful. For the first time in days, I felt a tiny bit of calm. Until I saw something move outside. A tall shadow, sliding slowly past my building. No distinct shape, no features, just a dark outline against the snow. It stopped right across from my window, and even though I was wide awake, fully conscious and moving, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was staring directly at me. Then, the lights flickered, and in the reflection of the glass, I saw its head tilt, the same exact way it had in my paralysis dream. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after that. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that shadow standing across the street, head tilted, waiting. I kept the lights on, the curtains shut, and tried to convince myself it was all in my head. But when you start hearing things while you're awake, you stop believing in coincidences. It began with the knocking, 3 soft knocks. Not on my door, but on my bedroom wall. The wall that faced my neighbor's apartment, except the unit next to mine had been empty for months. The first night, I ignored it. The second, I banged back, hoping it was just some weird noise from the pipes. But the instant my fist hit the wall, something knocked back, perfectly timed. 3 knocks again, slow, deliberate. I froze, staring at the drywall, my hand still pressed against it. And then I felt it. The vibration of fingers tapping from the other side. I stumbled backward, my heart slamming in my chest. I turned on the TV, music, anything to drown out the sound. Eventually, the knocking stopped, but I knew it wasn't over. The next night, I gave in. I was exhausted, mentally shattered. I remember whispering into the darkness, "What do you want from me?" My own voice sounded pathetic, trembling, but something answered. From the corner of the room came a whisper that didn't sound like words, but I understood it anyway. It said, "Let me show you." I don't remember falling asleep, but I remember waking up, except I wasn't in my room anymore. It was the same space, but stripped bare. No furniture, no color, no light except for a faint, pulsing glow coming from under the door. The air was thick and heavy, every breath painful. I tried to move, and once again, I couldn't. The paralysis had returned, worse than ever. Then I heard footsteps behind me, slow, dragging steps, circling me. I couldn't turn my head, but I could feel its presence. The air shifted each time it moved. I could hear it breathing. Wet, rattling gasps, like something trying to remember how lungs worked. It stopped right beside me and whispered, "You called me." The sound wasn't in my ears. It was inside my head, crawling through my thoughts like insects. I wanted to scream, to wake up, to do anything, but my body refused to respond. I could feel something cold press against my arm, a hand, bony and trembling. Then the light under the door began to grow brighter, a violent, pulsing red. And as it did, I saw them. Shapes, dozens of them, materializing around the room. They weren't solid, just outlines, flickering in and out like dying signals. Each of them tall, thin, their heads tilting at unnatural angles. The same motion, the same silent stare. They moved closer, surrounding the bed. The figure beside me leaned over, its face finally sliding into view. No eyes, no mouth, just an endless void where a face should be. Then, in a voice that vibrated through my bones, it said, "You never wake up." I felt the world collapse around me, walls folding inward, the floor breaking apart, everything dissolving into noise and darkness. I thought I was dying. I wanted to die, just to escape that suffocating terror. But then, I woke up. I shot upright, gasping, drenched in sweat. Morning light poured through the curtains. The room looked normal. My chest was still tight, but I could move. I sat there for several minutes, trying to steady my breathing. Then I noticed something. The wall, the one that had been empty, had 3 faint indentations, right where I'd heard the knocking, like the outline of fingers pressing from the other side. That was the last night I ever slept in that apartment. I packed a single duffel bag and left before sunset, not even bothering to grab the rest of my things. I drove 3 hours to my sister's house in another city, told her I needed a few days to clear my head. For a while, things were better. I could finally sleep again. No paralysis, no shadows, no whispers. I started to believe maybe distance had broken whatever connection it had to me, until last week. I was staying in my sister's guest room. Around 3 a.m., I woke up needing water. As I sat up, I felt it, that same pressure in my chest. Not as strong, but enough to make my stomach drop. I looked toward the doorway and saw it. Standing halfway in the hall, half hidden by the darkness, the tall, thin shadow, head tilted, watching. For a second, it didn't move. Then it slowly raised one long arm and pointed straight at me. I blinked, and it was gone. But when I turned on the lamp, there were 3 faint finger marks on the doorframe, just like the wall in my old apartment. Now I'm too afraid to sleep. I stay up until dawn every night, terrified that if I drift off for even a second, I'll wake up paralyzed again. And this time, I won't wake up at all. Some nights I hear faint breathing near my bed, just outside my vision. Sometimes I think I see something move in the reflection of the window, but I don't look anymore. Because whatever it is, it's waiting for me to acknowledge it. And I'm starting to believe it's no longer just in my sleep. If you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, tell me about it in the comments below. I want to hear your story. And if this one made you double-check your bedroom tonight, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next story might hit a little too close to home.